Our world is changing faster than ever. From rising temperatures and powerful earthquakes to the growing pressure of mass tourism, some of Earth's most extraordinary wonders are slowly disappearing. Landscapes shaped over thousands of years are fading in just a few decades. If you want to witness these places with your own eyes, time is no longer on your side. This is a journey to secret wonders you must see before they vanish from the face of the earth. Scafterfell Ice Cave, formed by ice pressure and meltwater, creating giant tunnels carved deep into ancient glacial ice over thousands of years. The blue transparent ice exists because compression removes air bubbles, letting sunlight pass through, producing surreal crystal-like effects. The inner structure is unstable. Each winter, it may vanish completely or reappear as an entirely new frozen tunnel system. This place also becomes a natural photo studio where glowing blue light turns every frame into frozen works of art. Domed ceilings, cracks, and transparent lines appear like natural sculptures, far beyond anything human hands could ever create. Visitors trek across the glacier before entering where the radiant blue chamber emerges alive like an icy alien world. Hiel Jerby Beach is known for its fine sand and gentle slope, providing exceptional safety for people enjoying the sea. No resorts or massive buildings exist, so the whole area has preserved its rare natural state in the Mediterranean. In summer, the water often surpasses 29 degrees, making this place a warm, ideal destination for travelers who love bathing. On Google Maps, many images mark the site as beach like a mirage because strong reflections make the sea look unreal. The scenery stands out with the blend of white sand, turquoise sea, and clear sky, forming 3 distinct layers of color. It remains one of the rare Mediterranean beaches, still giving visitors a raw, primitive experience, free from human interference. Aurora Borealis is seen as a surreal light phenomenon, proving the direct connection between solar activity and planet Earth. The event can stretch thousands of miles, covering the polar regions and turning the sky into a cosmic stage. Strong auroras sometimes reach lower latitudes, allowing people in Scotland or the United States to witness this cosmic display. In Inuit culture, the aurora was viewed as ancestral spirits returning to Earth, linking present and past generations. Vikings believed the lights were Valkyrie swords, guiding warrior souls into immortal heavens. Aurora Borealis is regarded as eternal heritage, where ancient belief and modern science intersect, leaving an undying legacy. Vatayakul is Iceland's massive glacier, where humans discovered the planet's most fragile ice cave systems hidden inside ancient ice. Cave ceilings rise dozens of feet, with frozen columns reflecting light into dramatic optical effects. Some ice caves contain tunnels hundreds of meters long, turning them into surreal labyrinths deep within the glacier. Although now a famous destination, reaching the caves requires special vehicles and guides to guarantee complete safety. The Vatayakul ice caves stand as fragile yet eternal heritage where science belief and geology merge into surreal spectacle. Antarctica is known as the coldest and harshest continent on Earth, where humans cannot naturally survive for long. Today, more than 70 international research stations operate year-round, making it the largest climate laboratory on the planet. Nearly 98% of its land is covered by ice, averaging 1,900 meters thick, hiding all the ancient terrain beneath. In fact, Antarctica is also the driest desert on Earth, with less annual precipitation than the hot Sahara Desert. Ice cliffs rising tens of meters glow blue under sunlight, shining like massive crystal walls across the frozen horizon. Antarctica recorded -89.2 degrees Celsius and now hosts extreme challenges like marathons, ice climbing, and skydiving. Mendenhall ice caves are a shining maze of blue ice formed under a massive glacier about 20 kilometers from Juneau, Alaska. The parent glacier retreats nearly 250 meters every year, revealing bare ground and turning ancient ice into fragile remains. No structures exist here. The whole experience is raw, with no power, no paths, and no human interference. NASA scientists once used this place as a model to study icy worlds, comparing it with Europa, the frozen moon. The Rishhat structure rises in the heart of the Sahara like a massive scar of Earth, nearly 28 miles wide, visible from space. Its concentric rock layers date back to the Proterozoic era, forming a natural record of the planet's ancient evolution. Scientists once thought it was an impact crater, but later proved it to be an eroded sedimentary dome. At sunset, the layers shift from burnt orange to silver grey, forming a spiral of light over the barren desert. Today, it remains a geological monument where wind time and the memory of Earth dissolve into eternal silence. On the Anatolian plateau, Cappadocia emerges as a living heritage where humans carved their mark into surreal volcanic stone. Derinkuyu, nearly 280 feet deep, once sheltered tens of thousands with well-stable storage rooms and a complex ventilation system. The region contains more than 200 multi-level underground cities connected by long tunnels, forming an unprecedented refuge network. Göreme rock monasteries preserve Byzantine frescoes for over a millennium, showing unbroken faith amid harshness and conflict. Fairy chimney towers were transformed into homes, hotels, and cafes, turning geological formations into artificial living quarters. Cappadocia is regarded as a double wonder, both natural and man-made, reflecting eternal fusion of survival and creativity. Icebergs are massive blocks of ice breaking from ice shelves, sometimes rising hundreds of feet, drifting freely across the frozen ocean. Ancient ice, more than 440 million years old, holds past climate records, making it a rare and valuable source for science. About 90% of each iceberg is hidden below the surface, with only the tip visible, often misleading human judgment of danger. One of the largest icebergs ever recorded was B15, with an area 3 times bigger than New York City. When sunlight passes through the ice, it shines in white emerald or deep blue, glowing like a giant jewel at sea. Visitors can ride boats or paddle kayaks close to icebergs, hearing loud cracks and feeling both overwhelming beauty and danger. Spotted Lake in Canada is considered a surreal mineral lake, one of the rare examples where nature and human history intertwine. The lake contains extremely high levels of magnesium, calcium, and sodium sulfate, making it one of the richest chemical sources on Earth. The Okanagan people regarded it as sacred, called it Kiluk, and used its mineral mud in healing ceremonies. The lake today is strictly protected, with visitors only allowed to observe from afar instead of direct access. Spotted Lake stands as a rare symbol where geology, war, and indigenous belief converge into an irreplaceable heritage. Mount Everest stands as the highest frontier of the planet, where life and death are separated by a single breath. Above 26,000 feet, extreme pressure drops make blood boil and mines fade within minutes. Temperatures fall to -76 degrees, and winds reach 200 miles per hour, creating a place even planes can't survive. Each year, over 1,000 climbers attempt the ascent, but only half reach the roof of the world. More than 200 frozen bodies remain as a warning for every journey that challenges human limits. For the Sherpa people, Chomolungma is not just a mountain, but the spirit of earth, a symbol of faith and courage. Lake Natron is one of the rare places on Earth where the boundary between life and death becomes hauntingly blurred. Under heat above 122 degrees, the surface shifts from red to purple as alkaline bacteria generate unique pigments. The water holds sodium carbonate and soda minerals so caustic it dissolves almost everything that touches it. Dead animals are covered by minerals, turning into natural statues, preserving their final moment forever. Rising vapor from the lake carries a sharp, alkaline smell, making visitors feel trapped inside a massive chemical experiment. Seen from space, Lake Natron forms a giant red eye, reminding humanity of the fragile limit of existence. Rainbow Mountains in Peru rise over 17,000 feet, considered a rare mineral wonder where the Andes reveal layers of vibrant colors. Colors shift intensity through the day, pale in the morning, bright at noon, and dramatically different again in the afternoon. Red, yellow, green, white, and purple hues formed by iron oxide, sulfide chlorite quartz, and manganese deposited across millions of years. Melting glaciers exposed curving strata, turning the site into one of the most unique open mineral archives on Earth. Today, Rainbow Mountains stand as a living symbol, both a trekking challenge and fragile proof of a transforming planet. Namib is the oldest desert on Earth, formed more than 55 million years ago, and still survives in brutal form today. Some places get less than 0.1 inch of rain yearly, yet strange species adapt and continue their fragile existence. Huge dunes rise around 1,000 feet constantly, reshaping under strong winds, blowing across the barren land every single day. Some dunes here can actually sing, producing deep booming sounds like giant creatures hidden beneath waves of sliding sand. The fiery orange-red color comes from iron oxide oxidized over millions of years, creating surreal landscapes compared to Mars. Walking among red dunes, petrified trees, and cold sea fog gives travelers the feeling of stepping beyond earthly boundaries. On this planet, there exist places so extreme, they push the boundaries of what we believe nature can create. To reach them, travelers must cross jagged cliffs, descend into deep canyons, or navigate landscapes carved by violent forces. Each step reveals scenes that appear impossible, colors forged by minerals, shapes molded by fire, and terrains sculpted by time itself. Here, beauty becomes something earned, a reward waiting at the edge of danger, where few have dared to go. These are not just landscapes, but living evidence of Earth's untamed imagination and power. Join us in Impossible Places, a journey into the planet's most extreme natural wonders. Balea Lake is the only place in Romania where the yearly average stays below 36 degrees F, keeping ice and snow for 9 months. In winter, thick fog surrounds the lake, and human breath seems to vanish inside the white air. Standing over 6,600 feet in the Fagaras Mountains, it remains one of the highest and deepest natural glacial lakes in the region. NASA once used the surrounding area to simulate Martian conditions because of its cold air pressure and rocky terrain. The first ice hotel in Eastern Europe was built here in 2006, changing its theme every year from mythology to outer space. Today, it attracts travelers who want to feel the thin line between humanity and extreme nature. Shaberg is one of the most striking rock peaks in Austria, rising about 5,850 feet above the valley floor. From its summit, you can see more than 13 glacial lakes and 5 mountain ranges stretching far across the horizon. The western cliff rises nearly 3,900 feet, one of the steepest and most dramatic natural walls in the Eastern Alps. The Shabergbahn Railway climbs at a gradient of over 25 degrees, among the steepest in Europe, still powered by steam locomotives. Its sudden elevation and clear visibility make it one of the rarest full panoramic viewpoints in the Austrian highlands. At the top, you can sip coffee above the clouds, watch them drift below your feet, and feel how close the sky becomes. Pentadatalo was formed on an ancient basalt rock shaped like a hand, about 820 feet high, created by ancient volcanoes. Stone houses with thick walls, low roofs, and narrow doors reveal how people once lived under extreme Mediterranean conditions. The main rock rises upward like giant fingers, once regarded by ancient Greeks as a sacred symbol of the earth. On foggy days, the entire village appears and disappears among rocks and mist, giving the feeling of walking between dream and reality. Narrow stone steps cross cliffs and deep cracks, where the marks of time remain unerasable. Today, the village still stands between wind and light, a living proof of human endurance against the power of nature. The Northern Lights over Iceland are a rare energy phenomenon, where space and Earth together form living electromagnetic movement around the planet. Charged particles from the solar wind collide with the atmosphere, creating glowing arcs that shift in shape with Earth's magnetic field. Iceland lies at the heart of the Auroral Oval, one of the few places where people can witness cosmic interaction with the naked eye. Geomagnetic studies show that auroras help shield Earth's surface from cosmic radiation, acting as the planet's natural defense. From orbit, the luminous bands circle the poles, forming an electromagnetic ring that mirrors the vitality of Earth's atmosphere. For Icelanders, The aurora is not only beauty, but evidence of the connection between humanity and the universe in eternal motion. Jungfrau stands 13,642 feet high, covered in snow year-round, as one of Switzerland's most eternal landmarks. Since 2001, it has been listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site for its glaciers and rare geological value. Its northern wall rises nearly 9,000 feet, showing the raw and powerful energy of alpine nature. Scientists have drilled deep into the mountain's ice core, studying ancient air and revealing key data about Earth's climate history. Temperatures at the summit range from -5 to -20 degrees Celsius, keeping the entire area under eternal snow. Jungfrau is not just a mountain. It is where humans confront their own limits before the absolute force of nature. Across Norway's western plateau, Trolltunga juts from a cliff over 2,300 feet high, formed by an ancient crack slowly shifting through time. The trail stretches nearly 17 miles with an ascent of over 2,600 feet through forest streams and slick stone, testing every hiker's endurance. Its name, Troll's Tongue, comes from Norse legend telling of a mountain spirit turned to stone to protect the land from sunlight. On clear summer days, the lake below mirrors the ledge, forming twin wings of stone suspended in mid-air, a sight visible only in rare calm weather. At night, on the plateau, travelers hear wind passing through rock and stars shimmering on the lake, feeling peace within the mountain's vast silence. Today, Trolltunga stands not just as an adventure goal, but as a symbol of human resilience before the power of nature. Stocksnes Vestrahorn stretches along Iceland's southeast coast, where ancient terrain and Arctic light merge into a raw, untamed beauty. The gabbro rock formed from deep magma over 8 million years ago, exposing Earth's ancient core, almost untouched by time. The peaks rise more than 450 meters, their sharp slopes casting long shadows across untouched black volcanic sands. The coastal wind produces a low hum through the mountain gaps known to locals as the breath of stone, symbolizing the spirit of this land. The name Vestrahorn means western horn, describing the blade-like ridges standing like spears above the northern sea. For Icelanders, this is more than scenery. It is a symbol of opposition, where nature proves beauty survives within harshness. Crater Lake is an ancient glacial lake shaped by the movement of ice, resting deep within the wild mountains of Western Canada. The area around the lake once hosted early First Nations groups, showing traces of life in a harsh alpine climate. The lake sits about 4,900 feet high, where oceanic and continental climates meet to create distinctive weather patterns. In summer, wildflowers bloom across the rocky slopes, spreading yellow and violet colors that transform the mountain into a living landscape. The trail stretches about 5 miles, rising over 2,000 feet, turning every step into a clear test of endurance. There are no marked signs along the way, so you must follow the terrain and natural traces to reach its still blue surface. Rub al-Khali, also known as the Empty Quarter, is the largest continuous sand desert on Earth, stretching over 25,000 square miles across the Arabian Peninsula. Its dunes rise above 800 feet, shaped by monsoon winds and shifting sands over thousands of years, forming vast moving landscapes. Summer temperatures can exceed 125 degrees Fahrenheit, making it one of the driest and hottest regions on the planet. The sand color changes through the day, turning from bright gold to deep red as the sun's angle shifts across the horizon. Travelers on desert expeditions describe standing in endless silence where time and sound seem to disappear into the horizon. Rub al-Khali stands as a symbol of nature's power and a living archive of Earth's climatic history. Polignano and Mare is known for being built entirely on ancient limestone formed over 60 million years ago, once lying beneath the prehistoric Tethys Sea. The town still celebrates the 700-year-old Mare Nostrum Festival, where locals sing ancient ballads honoring the sea and their ancestors. Beneath the surface runs a hidden network of caves about 2,600 feet long, once used as shelters, now partly open to visitors. Researchers discovered the limestone here produces a 3-layer echo, blending waves and human voices into one of the world's rarest acoustic effects. Rising salinity changes are killing the region's only stable red coral species, threatening to erase a vital marine heritage. Experiencing Polignano air Mare means hearing stone and sea breathe together, revealing the fragile connection between nature and memory. Across the hard limestone plateau of southern Italy, Alberobello appears as a living heritage, where stone and people have shaped each other's history. It remains the only inhabited city on Earth built entirely with the dry stone technique, proving human endurance through more than 5 centuries. The town preserves over 1,600 trulli from the 14th to 19th centuries, recognized by UNESCO for their integrity and unique urban unity. Many roofs still bear ancient symbols carved into the pinnacles, spirals, suns, and crosses, marking faith and family identity. Each conical structure reflects a medieval tax avoidance design, allowing quick dismantling during inspections, turning necessity into heritage. At night, moisture seeps through the stone and wind whispers across the roofs, letting visitors feel the still breath of the past. Fort Morgan stands at the edge of a narrow land where sand wind and sunlight mix into dry, burning air. Its irregular pentagon design with walls over 4 feet thick and deep trenches allowed full defense over the open sea. Built with more than 40 million bricks and finished in 1834, it showed advanced military engineering for its time. In the 20th century, it was reused during both World Wars with new heavy guns and early radar systems installed. Under the heat, the red bricks glow, while wind through the old gun tunnels releases a long, eerie whistle, Visitors walk along rough brick walls, hear the sea crash below, and feel history breathing through each gust of air. Keukenhof is seen as the spring symbol of the Netherlands, where millions of tulip bulbs bloom only for a few short weeks each year. The flower patterns are arranged by shape, color, and height, creating a three-dimensional effect visible even from above. Located 2 meters below sea level, the garden is protected by ancient dikes, maintaining perfect soil and light for floral growth. Many tulip varieties carry royal names linking biology, history, and the artistic spirit of Dutch culture. Every day, millions of gallons of water are used to keep precise humidity for the flowers throughout the display season. Keukenhof is more than a flower show. It is a living experiment in how humans control nature and time. Grey Cliffs are known as one of Europe's strangest rock regions, with steep, silver walls reflecting the cold mountain light. During winter, temperatures can fall below 5 degrees Fahrenheit, turning grey cliffs into frozen metallic pillars. The stone layers formed over 100 million years ago through massive compression between limestone and granite during the Alpine Age. The area holds ancient moss that glows faintly at night, forming the largest natural bioluminescent colony ever recorded in Europe. Grey cliffs remain a symbol of raw nature, where soundstone and life merge into a single, untamed world. Somewhere in the Swiss Alps, there's a secret village that few outsiders ever see. It feels untouched by time, where daily life moves slowly and nature sets the rhythm. The quiet beauty here makes you feel like you've stepped into another world. Every view carries a sense of mystery and wonder that stays with you. Join us as we uncover the hidden village of Switzerland that the world has almost forgotten. Iseltwald is the only village along the southern shore of the lake, where the calm water reflects every tree and wooden roof built near its edge. Historically, Iseltwald was completely isolated for nearly 300 years due to its rugged terrain and had no road access until the 20th century. There was once an old nursing home built in the 17th century that was suddenly abandoned for unknown reasons, with the last record showing it closed midwinter without notice. Once a month near dawn, locals claim to see the shadow of a lone canoe silently crossing the lake's still surface. Most visitors must walk nearly 1 mile from the parking area to enjoy the absolute silence, where every sound seems absorbed by the lake. Poschiavo lies tucked between high mountain ranges near the southern border, where ancient migration paths and trade routes crossed, leaving traces of blended cultures in a narrow space. Beneath the village, are vaulted tunnels not listed in any building records, and some old wells here maintain a constant water level with no known inflow or outflow. A legend passed through generations says a hidden doorway appears only on the final day of a long moon cycle, leading to a stone chamber where no sound echoes. Though some have searched at the exact time, no one has found clear evidence or located the entrance. Today, Poschiavo stands out for its Italian-style architecture in the Swiss Alps, but the old village paths still lead to sealed doors marked with half-symbol, half-pattern carvings. The strange silence, deep-set structures, and unproven stories give Poschiavo the nature of a village guarding a layer of reality the rest of the world cannot reach. Crans-Montana sits on a plateau at around 4,900 feet, where some land areas were once recorded to never freeze in winter despite low temperatures. In the late 19th century, a survey team discovered a series of underground caves connecting small lakes, but could not locate the main entrance as rock crevices closed each spring. Originally settled by nomadic herders, the village grew after reports of stable microclimate conditions uncommon for mountain regions. A local legend tells that every 3 years, a faint orange light appears on the lake's surface for about 1 minute, then disappears without trace. Some of its old roads still have original stone paving with repeating patterns not found in any other alpine settlement. Gruyères sits on an isolated hilltop, surrounded by limestone mountains and grass fields, where silence makes every sound echo as if trapped in the air. The village was formed in the Middle Ages and built around a large stone castle from the 13th century, which still has intact defense structures and underground levels yet to be fully explored. Locals share a legend about a shapeless cold spot in front of the castle gate where no device can measure temperature and people feel a chill even in bright sunlight. Some researchers tried to explain it with magnetism or rock structure, but no clear answer has been found. Today, Gruyères draws visitors not just for its preserved medieval look, but also for strange phenomena, rooms with no phone signal, and areas where people feel watched. Strict preservation rules and limits on modern expansion have helped Gruyères keep the feel of a village frozen in time and mystery. Betmaralp is located at high elevation on a wide southern slope in Switzerland, where the terrain mainly consists of sloping grasslands over granite and ancient geological cracks running north to south. This area has been recorded as a settlement since the 13th century, mostly by isolated farming groups who practiced short-season agriculture and small-scale herding, leaving behind dry stone storage systems still intact. The landscape features a sloped plateau with exposed large rock blocks and seasonal underground water streams that appear briefly in early warm months and disappear within weeks. In 1922, a thin smoke column was reported rising daily at noon for 5 days from a rock fissure on the slope, without signs of fire or heat activity, and samples taken later did not identify the source. Today, Betmaralp is a monitoring site for long-term changes in high-altitude ice layers, with stations collecting continuous data on surface shifts and seasonal ice separation. Some rock slabs here show thin, straight cuts of uniform depth with no tool marks or signs of erosion. Chillon is located on a rocky strip projecting into a lake in western Switzerland, with its old settlement built on limestone separated from the main shoreline, forming an almost isolated zone. The village layout follows a narrow linear arrangement along the water's edge, where old houses use natural stone placed directly on bedrock without any intermediate layer. During a geological survey in 1934, researchers discovered deep rock fissures beneath this area, formed after the glacial period, which could not be reached using standard drilling methods. A 19th century local record mentioned repeated underground echo sounds heard by residents on windless days, believed to come from hollow chambers blocked by lake water. Long-term inhabitants believe there is a large hidden cavity connected directly to the lake bottom, and strong ground disturbance should be avoided. Thun sits by a wide lake, but no one fishes near the shore because, as told, the water sometimes reflects scenes that no longer exist, like a tower dismantled in the 15th century, still appearing in late autumn. In the village center stands an old clock that strikes only on the hour if someone is watching, and no one has ever explained how it works despite multiple inspections. Homes in Thun have back doors leading to a shared underground level, linked by narrow paths only locals know how to unlock. In 1902, an entire neighborhood went silent for 3 months after a strange sound came from the lake. Never officially recorded, but still told today. The only festival in Thun happens in silence, as villagers release small wooden boxes onto the lake, each holding a paper with something never to be spoken. The village sign is repainted every year, but never in the correct color, and the only one who ever noticed was someone who no longer lives in Thun. Stein am Rhein is located at the junction of a lake and a river in northern Switzerland, with its old village built along the water on a narrow and densely arranged footprint. Most historic houses have timber frames and lime-mixed brick walls, with foundations placed directly on riverbank sediment rock without any protective buffer. In 1928, during a technical trenching project, a stone corridor about 20 feet long was found underground, unconnected to any above-ground structure and containing evenly spaced, hook-shaped wall recesses. No exit or artifacts were found, and the purpose of the structure remains unidentified. Some residents report faint, irregular echo sounds near the site during late summer when the river water reaches its lowest level. Although the area now serves tourism and conservation functions, the old village retains traditional height limits and forbids any extensions beyond historical standards. Württemberg is located in eastern Switzerland, near the border with Liechtenstein, and is known as one of the oldest continuously inhabited wooden housing areas in Europe. The name comes from Old German and means defense mountain, reflecting its role as a strategic fortress during the medieval centuries. The houses are made from solid wood, with simple but durable carvings, slanted exterior walls, and deeply set windows suited for harsh weather. It is studied extensively because it is one of the few settlements where architectural, administrative, and economic developments can be traced continuously from the 13th century to the present. Sion is located in the main valley of the Valais region, with the old village built on elevated rock and surrounded by dry slopes and ancient soil from glacial deposits. The streets in the village are arranged in a fan shape centered on a rocky summit, which served as a strategic lookout point during Roman times. Many houses still rest on original dry stone foundations, stacked by hand without mortar, designed to withstand minor ground shifts without modern reinforcements. In 1931, during drainage work, a hidden wall of unusual stone was uncovered beneath ancient soil layers containing deep, circular cavities with no known function and no mention in historical records. Anomalous static electricity was once recorded in this area during spring, when dry metal surfaces not touching the ground gave off small sparks. Although Sion is now a major administrative and transport hub, the old village retains separate planning rules and strict material restrictions. Bellinzona is not hidden deep in the forest, but its location at the junction of three valleys and its three surrounding castles have long wrapped it in thick history and mystery. The ancient village grew from Roman times and was once a key military checkpoint for empires moving through the Alps, with underground tunnels still unexplored today. Strange stories tell of stone gates that open on their own during full moon nights, followed by metallic sounds like chains being dragged. Some believe it's a sign of ancient mechanical systems built for defense, but none have ever been found despite several surveys. Though Bellinzona is now the region's administrative center, it has preserved nearly all of its medieval structure, walls, towers, and underground paths. The feeling of being watched while walking between cold stone walls makes visitors stare into every nearby gap without knowing why. Bad Ragaz is located near the eastern edge of Switzerland, where the terrain transitions between low valleys and steep rock formations with layered surfaces. One rock slope, about 300 feet long, contains multiple vertical cracks running parallel, each roughly 8 feet wide and up to 10 feet deep, believed to result from ancient soil movements. About 0.6 miles to the north, a site was discovered with an unusually smooth rock base, consisting of large slabs tightly joined in a non-repeating geometric pattern. The most debated account, linked to Bad Ragaz, came from a 1976 surveying group who claimed that the flat rock surface exhibited minor displacement when subjected to uniform pressure from multiple directions. Engelberg is a mountain town in the canton of Obwalden, Switzerland, located in a wide valley that used to be an ancient lake basin thousands of years ago. In the year 1120, the Engelberg monastery was established and became a cultural and religious center that still operates today. The area shows clear geological shifts with vertical limestone walls, sparse vegetation on steep terrain, and many glacier-fed streams forming white streaks across the rock surfaces. A recorded story from the 15th century tells of a monk who vanished while surveying cliff heights, and since then, the place has been avoided due to unexplained light effects. Few people know that there are narrow caves along the slope where light enters only once a year, aligned with Earth's magnetic drift cycle. Today, Engelberg serves as a center for alpine environmental studies and is frequently used for testing precision navigation devices in rugged terrain. Lokabad is situated on a high rock shelf between vertical mountain walls in Valais, with the old village built in a tight cluster surrounded by steep stone ravines and only one southern access point. The buildings are mostly made from pine wood and mountain stone, with foundations placed directly on natural flat rock without concrete or modern anchoring. In a 1995 geological survey, a dome-shaped cavity was discovered beneath the village center, about 12 feet below the surface, unconnected to known water or thermal systems. Instruments recorded minor pressure fluctuations in the cavity during early mornings, though no seismic activity was detected. Longtime residents reported hearing deep, steady underground echoes during winter that lasted several minutes before disappearing without trace. Since 2000, the site has been placed under technical restriction, and all new construction requires individual approval. On top of an ancient supervolcano, Yellowstone appears as a vast natural laboratory recognized as the world's first national park in 1872. More than 10,000 hydrothermal features, including hot springs, mud pots, fumaroles, and geysers, make Yellowstone Earth's most active geological system. The Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone, with golden cliffs and powerful waterfalls, proves the violent erosion lasting for millennia. Beneath the surface, the giant magma chamber keeps rising a few centimeters each year, proving the supervolcano is still alive and dangerous. Old Faithful erupts more than 30 meters regularly, while the Grand Prismatic Spring shines with rainbow colors produced by heat-loving microbes. Yellowstone has become a global symbol, a destination visitors must experience to understand the balance between destruction and preservation. In Kwangbin, Sondong is described as a colossal underground cathedral where ancient geology reveals raw forces rarely seen. Some passages are large enough to hold a Boeing 747 airplane, proving dimensions far beyond human standards. Scientists discovered ancient microorganisms surviving in extreme conditions, opening research directions for life in harsh environments. Sondong lies in Phong Nha Kebang National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage strictly protected with limited exploration permits. The cave was first found by local man Ho Kun in 1991 and announced worldwide in 2009 by a British expedition. Sondong is regarded as a special natural heritage, preserving Earth's history while expanding human knowledge about extreme life. The Sea of Stars in Maldives is described as a universe underfoot, where islands turn into starry skies from millions of glowing plankton. Locals long called it the Spirit Sea, seeing the lights as signs of abundant fishing and prosperity. White sandy beaches reflect the glowing waters, making the coastline shine like a galaxy stretched across the land. Maldives transformed this natural phenomenon into a global tourism symbol, attracting thousands of visitors to witness the surreal scene. The Sea of Stars stands as living heritage, where science, local livelihood, and human experience converge into a wonder worth protecting. Within Canaima National Park, Angel Falls emerges as a colossal water curtain, 979 meters high, forming one of Earth's most primeval violent landscapes. Because of the extreme height, the water turns into mist before reaching the ground, leaving the valley in a permanent haze. Angel Falls is 3 times taller than the Eiffel Tower, confirming its unmatched status as the world's tallest, uninterrupted waterfall. In 1933, American pilot Jimmy Angel placed the falls on world maps during his fateful gold-seeking flight. The Pemon call it Kerapakupai Meru, meaning waterfall, from the deepest place, linking it to ancestral spiritual belief. Angel Falls stands as a vertical testament where Earth displays its rawest power, reminding humanity of nature's dominance and the fragile scale of our existence. On Bohol Island, the Chocolate Hills stand as a rare geological phenomenon, where thousands of limestone mounds rise in striking uniformity. This landscape is a living record of ancient coral uplift and erosion, proving Earth's long geological transformation. The area was once used as a strategic site during World War II, showing historical value beyond geology. In 2003, the Philippine government declared the Chocolate Hills a National Natural Monument, and UNESCO nominated them for World heritage. Valleys between the mounds are still cultivated, linking ancient terrain directly with modern human livelihood. The Chocolate Hills are seen as a comprehensive heritage, preserving natural history while symbolizing national significance on the global stage. Grand Canyon is considered one of the largest canyons in the world, stretching more than 275 miles and over 1 mile deep. For millions of years, the Colorado River carved deeply into the plateau, creating a massive crack on Earth's dry surface. The exposed rock layers preserve nearly 2 billion years of history, far older than the first appearance of dinosaurs. Scientists record the canyon still sinking a few millimeters every year, proving its geology continues to change slowly. Thousands of cliffs, in red, orange, yellow, purple, and brown, form a giant, three-dimensional map of Earth's past. Standing at unguarded edges, people feel like hanging in the sky, where one wrong step could be fatal. Dendera Temple was built from durable sandstone, standing as an ancient monument that survived thousands of years of historical transformation. Its elevated position protected the structure from Nile floods allowing the building to remain nearly intact for more than 2 millennia. The foundation overlaps older ruins with archaeology, confirming continuous history from the 6th dynasty, stretching back over 4,000 years. The ceiling still depicts Goddess Nut, arched across the sky, painted deep blue, representing the vast and mysterious ancient universe. Closed chambers guide visitors deeper step by step, creating a ceremonial journey into the sacred world of ancient Egyptian belief. Today, travelers can climb to the roof of the temple and view the Nile and fertile plains spreading far beneath. Hermanus is globally known as one of the rare places where visitors can watch southern right whales directly from the shore. This is an important breeding ground for southern right whales in the southern hemisphere, creating majestic sights during the migration season. Natural cliffs, rising more than 100 feet, serve as perfect viewpoints where people witness giant whales breaching right before their eyes. A coastal trail stretching for miles allows trekking while opening panoramic views across the vast and powerful ocean. The whale crier uses his traditional horn to send signals echoing through the town when massive whales appear offshore. Hermanus today is called the whale capital of the world, blending wild nature with unique cultural identity into an unforgettable experience. Marrakesh is famous as the Red City, where every structure is made from clay and lime, giving it a unique color. At sunset, the red light reflection transforms the city into rare purple and pink shades, unlike anywhere else in the world. The city was founded in 1062 by the Almoravids, once serving as a central hub of politics, religion, and trade in North Africa. Old courtyards planted with date palms, oranges, olives, and fountains in the center look like peaceful ancient oases. Marrakesh stands at the edge of the desert, protected by the Atlas Mountains, showing extremes of barren land and icy snow peaks. Travelers often describe it as a journey awakening every sense from flavors and sounds to colors and the rhythm of life. Flic-en-Flac is known as one of the longest beaches in Mauritius, with soft white sand and a natural coral reef. The fine sand often turns golden pink at sunset, making the entire shoreline shine in a rare tropical glow. The outer reef protects the lagoon, keeping the waves gentle and the water clear year-round, perfect for swimming and relaxing. The sunset here lasts more than an hour as the sun sinks slowly into the ocean, creating a memorable spectacle. Locals often hold lively picnics directly on the sand, creating a homely atmosphere unlike many commercial tourist beaches. A visit to Flic-en-Flac blends swimming, snorkeling, and the search for a peaceful tropical paradise unlike any other. At Norway's far north, Nordkapp is known as the place where land ends and the Arctic Ocean begins. Beneath ancient rocks, scientists once recorded unusual magnetic pulses during the season when the sun never sets. Travelers stand at the cliff's edge, watching light move across the frozen sea, while strong winds make each step unsteady. In winter, the entire land falls into polar night, with green and violet auroras dancing in silent skies. For visitors, Nordkapp becomes a meeting point between human limits and the cold but captivating force of nature. Bay of Fires stretches as a coastline where rock, wind, and sea move in one rhythm, forming one of the planet's last untouched shores. In 2019, scientists found bacteria living on the orange lichens capable of absorbing carbon dioxide, naturally balancing greenhouse gases. The orange hue comes not from minerals, but from the photosynthetic reaction of Trentapolia aurea, an ancient lichen, surviving on light in harsh conditions. When rain falls, the lichens release tiny air bubbles through respiration, making the rocks appear alive, a rare biological phenomenon on Earth. Authorities warn that if air pollution increases by 10%, this fragile lichen layer could disappear forever from the coast. Bay of Fires stands as a reminder that nature's beauty endures only while humanity respects the fragile boundaries of the living earth. Jeju is seen as the living island of the ocean, where earth, wind, and fire still move beneath layers of ancient basalt millions of years old. Legend says the island was born from an egg fallen from the sky, and modern research confirmed traces of a celestial impact beneath ancient basalt. Inside the lava layers, scientists found transparent volcanic glass, an original obsidian type found in only a few places on Earth. Studies recently revealed ancient microorganisms surviving on methane inside Jeju's lava tubes, offering clues to potential life beyond Earth. The disappearing Gotjawal forest weakens the island's porous rock system, threatening the natural water circulation within the coming decades. Jeju stands as a symbol of planetary evolution and the enduring spirit of humanity united in preserving the living Earth. Seongsan Ilchulbong was born when magma erupted from shallow sea, creating a massive crater over 590 feet tall, a monument to fire meeting water. The name Ilchulbong means the place where the sun rises, and every New Year locals gather to greet the first beam through the crater rim. Its formation created a perfect bowl-shaped cone, where gas, water, and ash fused together, recreating early Earth's volcanic conditions. A 2022 geological survey found ground temperatures inside the crater about 12 degrees Fahrenheit, warmer than average, suggesting ancient heat still trapped beneath. With more than 3,000 visitors daily, tiny fractures are spreading along the steps, threatening the mountain's fragile balance. Standing atop the rim, feeling the sea wind strike your face, you sense the quiet pulse of a volcano that still breathes beneath the sunrise. Hardangerfjord is the longest ancient waterway of Vestland, where travelers feel cold wind and hear echoes rolling across the cliffs. Its surface divides into two colors, the upper pale green from glacial melt and the lower deep blue from returning sea currents. Stretching over 111 miles and sinking nearly 2,900 feet, it ranks among the planet's largest fjords. Each May, sea wind and apple pollen merge, forming a rare white rain that drifts softly like shining dust upon the water. In spring, thousands of fruit trees bloom as visitors row through mist, carrying apple fragrance through the still air. Hardangerfjord remains where nature and people share one steady rhythm, a living proof of Northern Europe's fragile balance. Calderas des Furnas is a place where people hear the earth boiling and see heat rising through pale white air. More than 30 steam vents and bubbling pools stay active, echoing like the planet's deep breath. Beneath a crater formed over 30,000 years ago, scientists found a boiling water layer 40 meters deep, moving year-round. Geothermal gases here emit a low 5 Hz frequency audible to humans, proof that magma activity is still alive below. The ground shifts from orange to red as sulfur and iron react through constant oxidation under the Atlantic air. Within the thick, rising steam, visitors feel the living warmth of Earth pulsing around them like a silent memory of fire. Saimangeum is a new land built by humans on Korea's Western Sea, where the line between ocean and land disappears. Beneath layers of ancient mud, geologists discovered Holocene traces, proving the ongoing transformation of natural Earth. A seawall almost 21 miles long divides two opposite ecosystems, one saltwater and one calm freshwater basin. Visitors can ride bicycles through strong ocean wind, hearing the metal rails vibrate gently as waves crash in the distance. When the sun sets, pale red light floods the lake, turning the sea-crossing road into a glowing path that seems endless. This place stands as a symbol of modern engineering and humanity's power to reshape the limits of nature. Sognefjord is regarded as the symbol of Nordic nature, where travelers cruise across the deepest water canyon in all of Europe. The fjord's two layers of water, salt below and fresh above, reflect light, creating a constant emerald tone through the seasons. It was shaped after the Ice Age over 20,000 years ago, when melting glaciers carved a trench deeper than the North Sea floor. In summer, sunlight passes through mist and surface, producing triple reflections that turn the landscape into a shining silver mirror. Many travelers say standing on a boat amid wind and echo makes their heartbeat merge with the rhythm of the fjord. On Tasmania's east coast, Freycinet National Park invites travelers to touch raw beauty between the cold ocean and ancient pink granite cliffs. For millions of years, wind and waves have polished these rock faces, making them glow rose-red as sunset spreads across the sea. Established in 1916, the park stands as Australia's early symbol of conservation and Tasmania's lasting pride. Geologists discovered that the pink granite here contains feldspar minerals which reflect intense red light, creating a rare natural fire effect. The descent of more than 1,000 steps toward the deep coast lets you feel your breath heartbeat and the weight of the ancient terrain. Freycinet represents Tasmania's perfect contrast, where wind rock and humanity together redefine the meaning of wild beauty. Amid the vast Caucasus Range, Mount Elbrus rises 5,642 meters, marking the horizon where Asia and Europe meet beneath endless snow. Formed about 2.5 million years ago, when the Eurasian and Arabian plates collided, it lifted magma into a permanently frozen volcano. Though dormant for thousands of years, faint geothermal heat still pulses within, a quiet breath of Earth that never dies. Since 2020, the climbing route has been equipped with automated weather sensors, monitoring wind, ice, and safety for thousands of annual climbers. The glacier encircling its crater is over 200 meters thick, preserving 400,000 years of planetary climate data. For Russians, Elbrus is where people test their limits, a journey through ice where human will is forged into strength. On a high rock ledge not far from Rhine Falls, there is an old housing cluster built in an open arc, with its back against the cliff and facing the fast-moving water. The houses are identical in height and material, but historical diagrams show slight rotation changes in their position over time, not distance shifts. In 1985, while checking for erosion damage, a technical team discovered a 4-foot-wide rock fissure running beneath the settlement, with evenly spaced circular depressions unrelated to any known natural formation. Further measurements showed that the foundations did not move in a fixed direction, but rotated slightly from their original orientation without damaging the structures. Some residents noted that doors no longer opened in the same direction as in previous years, despite no renovations. The site is now within a restricted geological zone, where deep ground intervention is not permitted. Rapperswil is located in eastern Switzerland, near a lake, and has been known since the 13th century as a fortified town connected to feudal families. The name comes from Old German and refers to the settlement of a man named Rapprecht, a noble who built the first stone fortress in the area. The central architecture still features stone ramparts, narrow arched gates, and a wooden bridge linking two divided parts of the town, showing its military past. A legend says that in 1350, a sealed iron box was found in a hidden chamber of the fortress, and inside was a map filled with symbols never seen in European writing. For centuries, the town hosted merchant gatherings and was allowed to issue a local form of trade script for use in old markets. Today, Rapperswil retains much of its original structure and serves as a rare research site on the link between local power and early commerce. Arosa sits in a valley over 5,800 feet high, where mountain ranges form a natural wall separating the village from the outside world. Before the 20th century, Arosa had no permanent residence due to long winters and harsh terrain, with only herders staying in summer. After its air was found to help treat lung diseases, patients began arriving, and some never left. Locals still speak of figures seen near the windows of abandoned houses at dawn, believed to be the spirits of those who died during treatment. Though Arosa is now a well-known resort, many old houses remain with cellars unexplored and certain areas sealed for no clear reason. Its isolation, medical past, and unexplained events give Arosa the image of a beautiful village that carries a quiet sense of unease. Meienfeld is located in eastern Switzerland, near major trade routes crossing the Alps, and was once an important stop for transport convoys in medieval times. The name Meienfeld comes from Old German and means spring field, referring to the rare flat terrain found in this mountainous region. Buildings here follow a traditional style with solid stone bases, thick walls, and heavy wooden shutters, often combining storage for grain and shelter for livestock in one structure. Today, the area draws researchers due to its well-preserved community layout, traditional farming systems, and physical evidence of ancient trade. Ascona is located on the shore of a lake in southern Switzerland, surrounded by steep mountain slopes, and still preserves its traditional stone village layout from the 16th century. The houses are built with local grey stone, with steep tiled roofs and hand-laid paths, unchanged for nearly 500 years, even as modern developments have grown around them. In the late 19th century, a group of European intellectuals settled in Ascona and documented spiral light patterns appearing on the lake during the day, with no clear source and leaving no trace. The same phenomenon reappeared 3 times in the 1920s, but could not be explained using the instruments available at that time. Many believe that the lakebed near the village contains large hollow chambers that remain inaccessible, and much of the nearby lake area has not been fully surveyed. Saas-Fee sits at over 5,900 feet, surrounded by permanently glaciated peaks, and remained completely cut off in winter until the early 20th century. Since medieval times, locals recorded a still mist phenomenon at dawn when thick fog covers the valley but does not move even in strong wind. Modern geologists suggest the rock formations around Saas-Fee create a micro-pressure zone that holds air in place briefly. The village still bans gasoline vehicles, and all transport is electric or manually operated. A stone house in the center, believed to date back to the 17th century, has a foundation that does not match any local building methods and once showed light tremors at dawn without seismic activity. Saas-Fee is now a research site for underground glaciers and natural ice runoff systems, with data used for avalanche alerts across the surrounding mountain areas. Not located on any major road and surrounded by forests and cold streams, Klosters existed as a nearly isolated village for centuries. In the Middle Ages, it was a retreat for monks living in solitude, and its name comes from monasteries that were forgotten over time. Locals still tell of a strange sound heard on foggy nights, a distant bell ringing with no church or bell ringer nearby. Some believe It is a signal from a buried monastery where monks disappeared without a trace. Though Klosters is now a luxury destination, old footpaths remain, and the village core is strictly preserved. The mix of modern comfort and unresolved mysteries gives Klosters the feeling of a peaceful village that quietly hides something beneath. Zermatt lies at over 5,200 feet, surrounded by snow-covered peaks, and was once known for radio signal failure due to strange magnetic activity. Before becoming a mountaineering destination, Zermatt was home to isolated settlers with no confirmed origins. Some 19th century records describe spiral ice melt holes on slopes with no water flowing out. Today, Zermatt bans engine vehicles to protect ancient ground and avoid magnetic interference. In the village center, there is a wooden house with a window that cannot open despite having no lock or seal. An old map marked a tunnel through the mountain from Zermatt to the next valley, but no real entrance has ever been found. Garda is located on a high mountainside where sunlight only reaches it for a few hours each winter day, creating a sense of isolation that lasts for months. The village is built with stone and wood in traditional Engadin style, with thick walls and small windows to resist snow and mountain winds. One old house has remained locked since the 18th century and is known locally as the House Without Echo, because inside all sound seems to vanish without explanation. Acoustic tests have been done there, but no theory explains why noise disappears completely in that space. Today, even as Guarda welcomes cultural tourists, The original structure of the village remains, including houses marked with carvings not found in any known folklore. The long silence, strange sound effects, and undeciphered symbols give Guarda the character of a centuries-old village quietly guarding its own secrets. Flims is a village set within a vast limestone area, surrounded by collapsed cliffs and deep caves still largely unexplored, formed by the largest known landslide in the Alps. The first settlement began after the disaster, and many old buildings now sit on debris layers several dozen feet thick. In the village stands a sealed stone well with no water source, yet flowing sounds are often heard from deep inside around midnight, though surveys found no underground stream. Locals believe it connects to an ancient water cave system once inhabited, then lost during the mountain collapse. Today, while Flims thrives on eco-tourism and mountain sports, its village core remains intact, with blue stone paths, dark wooden walls, and spiral carvings with no clear meaning. The mix of collapsed terrain, unexplained sounds, and an unrevealed past gives Flims the feel of a village reborn from ruin but never fully understood. On a narrow projection along the northern edge of Lake Geneva, there is an isolated old village with an architectural layout unchanged for over 2 centuries. The houses are built from white limestone, arranged in a semicircular pattern facing the lake, with shallow but stable foundations supported by dense clay-mixed soil. Residents have reported a strange effect. At certain times of year, floors and nearby ground feel slightly soft underfoot, despite no visible sinking. In 1988, a technical team recorded that ground elasticity varied with weather and showed concentric shifts toward the center of the village, though no surface irregularities were found. Historical notes from the 19th century describe temporary disorientation when standing in the village center, though no long-term effects were documented. To this day, the village maintains its original number of houses, with strict limits on expansion, materials, and structural changes. Interlaken sits between two large lakes and is surrounded by high mountains, once used as a retreat for monks from the 12th century, with records still kept in the old monastery. The area was closed to outsiders for over 150 years due to a series of unexplained astronomical phenomena, including swirling lights over the lake on full moon nights. An ancient map of this region was once confiscated by authorities, marked with locations that do not match any current landscape and believed to be linked to a ground-shaking event in 1786. Along the lake, there is a stone bridge segment built with unknown techniques, using no mortar, and it has remained intact without cracks through many centuries. Grindelwald was once called a refuge zone in 16th century maps due to its isolation by giant glaciers and impenetrable forests. Stone tools and ancient habitation traces have been found beneath the permafrost, but no records reveal who lived here. The cliffs surrounding the area rise over 9,000 feet and are often covered in clouds, leaving only a few hours of natural light each day. In an unverified legend, people say that once a year on a specific night, flickering lights appear in the valley like signals, even though the area has no electricity grid. Today, Grindelwald provides valuable climate data from one of the highest observation stations in the Alps and serves as a training base for professional mountaineers. Despite the growing number of tourists each year, the village layout with slanted wooden roofs and ancient water channels remains unchanged, as if time never touched this place. Rolla is located in western Switzerland along a large lake and was once a checkpoint for medieval water trade routes, with its name coming from Old French, meaning allocated land. The town's traditional layout centers on a square stone fortress built in the 13th century, surrounded by rows of low, sloped houses with narrow fronts, grouped for both living and defense. A local legend from 1680 says that after a strong storm, a wall in the fortress's food storage cracked and revealed a sealed brick compartment holding engraved symbols that remain undeciphered. This preservation supports research into the urban history of Switzerland. Jungfrau is located on a saddle between two high alpine ridges at the Bern and Valais border, where a small settlement was built directly on long-term stable ice. Each structure has deep foundations that reach through the ice into bedrock, yet their relative positions shift with the seasons without any structural movement recorded. In a 1990 survey, engineers found that the distance between two buildings measured in June differed by nearly 3 feet compared to the result from January, despite no visible ice flow. There were no cracks, no subsidence, and all tension cables remained in place. One internal report noted that many doors no longer aligned with shared corridors as originally designed. After confirming the phenomenon repeated regularly, all floor plan records were removed from the Regional Technical Archive.